Welcome to the Cryptonomatron. Thanks for joining me today, guys. In this video, we will be doing a much demanded ICO review on UChain. But if this is your first time watching the channel and you want to know more about ICOs, cryptocurrency, blockchain, masternodes, airdrops, that type of stuff, then click on that subscribe button and click on that bell notification icon as well, and you'll get notified as soon as I upload new content. And I do a lot of ICO reviews, including this one on UChain. So let's get into it, guys. You guys requested it. Many of you actually asked me if I would do a review on UChain, so here it is. UChain is going to be the first public infrastructure blockchain that's designed specifically for the global sharing economy. Now, if you want to know what the sharing economy is, it's sort of like Airbnb, Uber, that type of thing. And along with other sharing economy enterprises, UChain aims to build its underlying blockchain network to solve the current problems of trust and data abuse as well. So they're going to have APIs and SDKs for developers, all provided by UChain. Their white paper seems very technically adept. The team looks fairly impressive, just with a quick glance. So let's get into it and start off by looking at the competition. So there's a couple of competitors that I knew of right away. One was Origin Protocol. It's going to have a crowd sale, I believe, and you can register your interest for pre-sale, but no dates have been set. Again, they're a protocol for creating sharing economy marketplaces using the Ethereum blockchain, however, and IPFS as well for distributed file storage. Another interesting one was ShareRing, and again, they are looking to have a crowd sale. So the whitelist is open now. They have a lot of interest in this. It's an Aussie project, I believe, and they are set to be the Amazon of the sharing economy. So have a look at both those projects. So let's look at the problems they want to solve now. And the main thing that I see here is the centralization that's inherent with the sharing economy at the moment. Now, at one point, the sharing economy was viewed as the next economic boon. Everybody's talking about it. It was on everybody's lips, but not so much anymore. With cryptocurrency now becoming popular, it sort of faded from view a little bit. But with the invention of blockchain, that gives the sharing economy maybe an opportunity, perhaps, to use blockchain as the new infrastructure. So some of the inherent problems that surround the sharing economy at the moment, such as excessive transaction costs. Most companies that operate in the sharing economy, like Uber and so on, charge excessive fees. There's also the problem of trust as well. And again, if you are using a centralized system, then you're basically having to vouch for people to facilitate the transaction as well. So again, using a trustless blockchain will get rid of that issue. And the other big issue is data leakage and abuse as well. If you give your details to a company, for example, then it's possible that they could potentially leak that data or get hacked, and your personal data becomes in the public domain. So those are the main problems. So from the consumer's point of view, you have to register for every different service that you sign up for, and that takes time and it's annoying. Also, you are at risk of having your privacy compromised as well, and you're also at risk of being a victim of the platform dishonesty, which might be against your best interest as a consumer. You've also got to take into account your financial security. If you've registered your credit card or debit card details with the service provider, then you're exposed as well. So from the service provider's point of view, you have the asset security. Users' assets can be exposed to damage. You're also open to lower profits because you're paying a middleman, essentially, and platform dishonesty as well. So if you're working for a sort of centralized organization, they can be dishonest. That might be against your best interests. And as well, your information may be leaked. So you yourself could be compromised in terms of your data being hacked or spread around when it's against your wishes. So the aims of UChain are to build a public infrastructure blockchain network that's specifically designed for the global sharing economy. So along with other sharing economy enterprises, they're going to build this decentralized worldwide sharing economy ecosystem where every user can exchange value and publish contents freely without intermediaries. So I think the evolution of the sharing economy will definitely include blockchain infrastructure. And as we see now, cutting out the middlemen seems to be the way forward. Now, we're in very early stages at the moment, so you know, this is quite ambitious from UChain to try and implement, and they are going to actually provide some solutions to those problems we discussed in the last chapter, in that they will be decentralized. It will be a peer-to-peer transaction settlement, so the intermediaries will be cut out of the system, and that means no more 20 to 50% to the intermediaries like Uber. And they will issue a credit passport as well, so that means that your activities will be recorded on the blockchain. There will be this credit passport mechanism that's open to all sharing service providers, so they'll be able to assess and see your behavior as well. So it will also allow them to give you a much smoother service, a much smoother experience when you're using them. And of course, because it's decentralized, then your data is protected, not only the user's data, but also the service providers as well. So the sharing economy is definitely a growing economy, and it's estimated that the platform provider revenues will grow up to 40.2 billion in 2022. Now, last year in 2017, the provider revenues were around 18.6 billion US dollars. That's quite significant. Another example, Airbnb estimates that their listings are going to grow from 2 to 3 million by the end of 2018. So that's quite phenomenal growth we're seeing. And again, this is replicated across all the platform providers as well. Most of the successful ones are showing exponential growth. So I see them getting quite a large market share if they're successful in implementing not only UChain, but Origin Protocol, ShareRing, B Tokens, another one, Kanya Coin, another. You know, I can see a synergy between the sharing economy and the blockchain. So the overall product structure is divided into 4 different layers. As you can see behind me, there is the core blockchain layer, the API and SDK layer for developers, the service layer, and the application layer as well. And the UChain platform utilizes a middleware technology that's going to combine the blockchain tech with traditional database technologies as well to enable creation of tables similar to traditional databases on the blockchain. So this will enable rapid conversion of the platform data between the local databases and the blockchains. They are going to use the Ripple consensus algorithm. The Ripple protocol consensus algorithm is its full name, or RPCA. They chose this because they wanted speed over and above everything else. However, you know, there have been some detractors of that consensus algorithm. They question its stability, its reliability, and also it has potential theoretical attack vectors as well. So it could be open to double spending attacks and stuff like that. So transaction speed and high concurrency were the 2 benchmarks that were evaluated, and that's why they chose the Ripple protocol consensus algorithm over proof of work and proof of stake. They say are slower in block generation, and thus they reduce the transaction speed, which were no good for their needs. So the service layer, in essence, manages all the modules, all of the stuff that the platform is doing, including the smart contracts as well. The application layer will basically be open for developers to develop their own decentralized apps on top of, and that means you can also have your own token within your app, which is pretty cool, and that will appeal to a lot of enterprises for sure. So there are 2 major roles that are driving the ecosystem: users and developers. Now, users can be categorized as service users, independent service providers, and enterprise service providers as well. So independent developers or UChain Foundation developers can create and maintain the infrastructure and interact with each other as well. The users obviously will be paying the token for any service provided on the decentralized apps that are based on the blockchain, or they'll be simply making transactions through UChain's peer-to-peer transaction platform. Enterprises, as I mentioned, can develop their own specialized decentralized apps to represent their business within the UChain infrastructure. So they can also launch their own token, as I said, that will work with their ecosystem and also interact with the UChain ecosystem as well. Other cool features are the UCN reward program. So users will actually get rewards distinguished by their proof of activity algorithm. There's also the URC1 standard token, which is basically the token that the enterprise will use within their dApp, within their own ecosystem. So the question is, I suppose, will we see projects being launched on the back of UChain in the future? I think we may well do. Indeed, we may well see decentralized apps for service providers that are engaged in the sharing economy, much like Airbnb, Uber, Grab, launching on the back of this platform in the future. So they don't have any blockchain built yet, and they don't have any specific decentralized apps built on the platform, because obviously we're quite a while away from any even demo or prototype. So that's a bit disappointing. Now, I assume they're expecting us to accept the UBicycle, who are their partner company, if you like. They're expecting us to accept that as a minimum viable product, I suppose, which yeah, okay, they have built something already, and it's a business, an operating app. You can download it on iOS and Android as well. And after the mainnet launch, it will be migrated onto the UChain, so they believe. So, you know, it's up to you whether you consider that acceptable as a prototype or a demo or a minimum viable product. Okay, so the token is called the UCN, and it does have quite a lot of functionality and importance to the actual system. So it will be efficient, low-cost transactions, you know, all the things you'd expect from a peer-to-peer payment service, because that's primarily what this is going to be, as well as the fuel for the ecosystem. Now, you will be able to stake it for rewards, which I think is quite interesting. You can get this UCP token by locking in your UCN for additional voting power and more or higher ecological access within the system, which is quite interesting. And of course, you will be rewarded for it as well. But in terms of what it actually does, the white paper gives a few key features of it. It's obviously going to be circulated in all the decentralized apps as to work as a payment, basically, for all kinds of transactions. It will also be used for supply chain vouchers as well, so you can use vouchers to purchase assets from suppliers, like sharing bicycles, etc. Data contribution rewards as well, so if you decide to contribute your data, you will be rewarded. Value-added services, so you can use it to pay for the API services provided by UChain. It will be given as community rewards to third-party developers and community operators, etc. It will also be used to incentivize people to onboard as well onto the platform and create valuable content that helps the community grow. It will be used to pay all the fees, transaction fees, for example, and fees in a decentralized exchange. And also you'll be able to use it to buy advertisements through the UChain advertising platform. So as far as my research went, there are no red flags or scam warnings surrounding this project. However, as usual, if you do know anything about this project and I haven't brought it to light in this review, please do post in the comments below, because we are a community and we're here to help everybody. And you know, I can't be the oracle and get everything right all of the time, guys. You know, I try my best, but I'm only human. So, token sale details now, and I find it utterly bizarre how they have not got a total supply number. It says it will be determined at the conclusion of the ICO. I find that quite bizarre, to be honest with you. Now, by my calculations, if they are looking to raise 42,000 Ethereum, that means one Ethereum is 5,000 UCN, that's the exchange rate. So that means there's going to be 210 million UCN up for grabs in the 3 stages of the sale. That's private sale, public pre-sale, and crowd sale. So that means a minimum of 210 million UCN tokens, not including the bonuses. So that's 40% of the total token supply. So I work out that the total supply should be around 515 million, maybe a bit more, given the bonuses. And the private sale bonuses are pretty high. 50% bonus with the lion's share of the allocation going to private sale is pretty high. But you know, they do have it locked down for 6 months, so that's not so bad. Other things about the token sale. Unfortunately, US and Chinese citizens cannot participate. The breakdown or the allocation distribution, I think would be a better word, is 40% for the token sale, as I mentioned, 35% will go into the ecosystem, 15% will go to the team, and 10% goes into the company reserve. So as we can see here, the breakdown is as follows. 22,000 Ether for the private pre-sale. Public pre-sale will get 8,000 Ether. Crowd sale will be 12,000 Ether. Now, we can participate in the public pre-sale. That is going to start on June the 20th. Whitelisting will start on June the 10th, so mark that in your diaries. And then the crowd sale will start in July as well. So not too far away, and I would start preparing for the whitelist ASAP. So the team tokens are subject to a lockup for a minimum of 1 year and then a 3-year vesting schedule where 33% will be released every year. Okay, so they're not running a bounty campaign, and as far as I know, I don't think they're having an airdrop either. You'll have to participate in the pre-sale or main sale to get any tokens, and it's going to be difficult to get a big allocation, I think, because this one's quite hyped up. However, if you do want to win some UChain coins, or tokens even, and UCN, then you can take part in this giveaway if you follow them on Twitter and follow them on Telegram, join the Telegram channels and the announcement channel and reply to their tweet, then you could potentially win $500 worth of UCN. So onto the roadmap now, and they say they started early on 2017. I'm inclined not to believe them. I don't like this roadmap, I'll be brutally honest with you. I think the roadmap's vague. It's also speculative as well. The mainnet will be launched hopefully by the end of 2018. With the enterprise open platform on top of it as well. But then they go on to say that they will just work tirelessly to bring many partners and introduce various companies. Well, you know, I don't care about that. I want to know exactly what you're going to do with your platform, when each thing's going to be implemented. And it's just far too vague for me. It's and again, you know, you better be working hard. You should be working hard. We expect you to. You don't need to tell us. You certainly don't, you know, you've obviously not got anything planned. And that indicates that there's a lack of a business plan perhaps going forward with this project in terms of when the implementation is going to occur. And again, I think that is a result of having the questionable blockchain experience on the team. And we'll discuss that in the team section in a minute. Onto the team now, and I did read another couple of blog reviews on this project that were gushing with praise over the team. Well, I'm not going to gush with praise over them, I can tell you that. The reason that I'm not gushing with praise, because I could just read out and say, oh, this guy worked for eBay, or he worked for this Chinese company Dianping, and this person worked for GlaxoSmithKline, and etc., etc. I'm not really interested in that. I'll be honest with you. It's impressive, you know, if you've got a good CV, you've worked for these big companies, that's fine. But I want to know what you've actually achieved yourself. The one thing that this team's got going for it is its entrepreneurial spirit, in that they've already set up their own company, UBicycle, and a lot of these team members are involved with that, including Ian Yu, the founder and CEO, and Will Zhu, the chief technical officer as well. But my concerns are in the lack of demonstrable blockchain experience within the team. Now, when I go back and check, in the white paper it says that they've got experience in distributed systems and etc., etc. But the only guy with verifiable experience is this Jason Wu, who again is, and even that is questionable because he's working for his own company, of which he's the only employee, it appears on LinkedIn. If I look through the other guys, they're all basically working either for UBicycle, or they've got full-time jobs and are not actually committed full-time to this UChain project. So that's another concern. Some of the team members are actually working this part-time. Again, it shows just a lack of maybe commitment a little bit. Now onto the advisory body. I had a little look through these guys. Now, you can't really question their blockchain experience. We've got Jonathan Ha there. He's CEO of Red Pulse, another ICO that launched on, I believe it was the Neo platform, if I'm not wrong. And it was an early launch on the Neo platform too. We've got Jimmy Hu, who's founder and CEO of the Apex network, and some other venture capitalists as well to swell it a little bit. Another interesting guy on the advisory body is this Ray Valdez. He's Chief Technical Officer at Consensus as well. So it's a decent advisory body. I'm not overwhelmed with the team. As I said, I've got a couple of minor concerns in that they've no demonstrable blockchain experience, and again, you know, the fact that a lot of them aren't working full time for the project is a bit puzzling to me. So in terms of investment and partners, they've got a lot of capital investment already from many different venture capital firms, including Badwater Capital, Ledger Capital, etc. They're also partnered, they say, with Alipay and Grab. Now, you know, the depth of these partnerships has yet to be seen. I don't know whether Grab are fully involved as a partner with this project, nor Alipay as well. They're both massive, massive companies. I do know, however, that they have shares in Grab Cycle, and they were part of the setup of Grab Cycle in Asia as well. So they are involved with Grab, that's for sure. Alipay, I'm not so sure how extensive that partnership is going to be, but if they are fully partnered with those companies, then it will be good for the future. However, I do question the depth of their involvement in this project. So the biggest partner is this UB Group Holding. Now, they're the world's leading internet organization that focuses on shared travel. So they're already involved in the sharing economy quite extensively. They own UBicycle, which is the 4th largest bike sharing platform in the world. They've also got shares in Grab Cycle as well, which is, if you don't know about Grab, Grab are the Southeast Asia's leading transport sharing enterprise. They started off a bit like Uber, and Uber have actually bought into them recently as well. So that's probably the biggest partner in terms of the sharing economy anyway. So in terms of community and hype, the community and hype is both growing quite rapidly with this project. Now, we're quite a bit away from the ICO kicking off, another few weeks, but hype is building, definitely. They've got 1,700 followers on Twitter, and that's going to grow exponentially, I think, in the next few weeks. And also, they have over 17,000 members on their English-speaking UChain Telegram group as well. So that's pretty good. They've also got a announcements channel that you'll need to join to get updated of any important announcements. So yeah, the hype seems to be building. This has certainly got a little bit of a buzz among the cryptocurrency community, the ICO community. A lot of people asked me to do this review, and when I've looked around, it seems to be still not at maximum hype levels yet, but there's more people jumping on it every day. So, almost final verdict time. Let's look at the positives first and what I like about this project. Well, I believe that blockchain is the new infrastructure for the sharing economy. I believe that it's a natural progression from where we are now with the sharing economy. I think blockchain is going to be very important in taking it forward. The second thing I like is it might allow people to get around regulations about the sharing economy where they have bans, such as in Thailand with the banning of Airbnb and other such services. There's also been Uber banned in many, many countries. Well, if you're using this blockchain platform then and dealing with individuals, perhaps it's not so clear cut. So it might allow people to get around it. And I'm not suggesting for a minute that that's what you should be doing, because remember, laws and regulations are there for your own good. This is an infrastructure project in many ways. It does have its own blockchain. And again, infrastructure projects are, at the moment anyway, doing much better than, say, decentralized applications or even protocols. It's a fast-growing market, the sharing economy, and it's somewhat future-proof as well, I believe. So that's quite good. If UChain can get a little bit of this market, then it's a lot of money. They've already got an existing business and revenue. This UBicycle, Grab Cycle, and the other businesses under UB Holdings are already quite lucrative, I would imagine, and going forward, they'll be key to the success of this project. Can we accept the UBicycle app as an MVP? Well, if you're happy with that, I'm happy. So we'll call the UBicycle app a minimum viable product for this UChain project. It's got quite a good use of tokenization as well. It incentivizes, you can stake it. It's got quite a lot of good features as far as a token economy is concerned. And enterprises can build on the back of this project and have their own decentralized apps and their own tokens. And I think that will be key to getting this adopted. And I like the fact that the team has got entrepreneurial success as well. They've been successful in setting their own companies up already, and that bodes well for the future. And as a result, they've got a lot of capital investment because people have already recognized that entrepreneurial spirit and they've rewarded them by investing in this project. The partners look strong. Again, I question the depth of the partners' involvement, some of them anyway, but on the whole and on the surface, they look pretty strong here, and that'll drive it to success. And this incentivizes users to onboard as well because of the reward system, because it's cheaper than the current model. Again, this is going to bring people on board. And I like the fact, I mentioned it already, but I do like the fact that you can stake tokens for rewards. The team tokens are also locked up for up to 4 years, a 1-year lockup and then a 3-year vesting. So I think that's important because I see a lot of projects these days that have very, very short lockups for teams. It shows that they actually believe in the project. And the tokenomics overall, they look pretty decent. I think the low token price of 12 cents and a fairly low hard cap of about $25 million make this quite an attractive opportunity, especially with the hype that's now building behind it, because I think the hype's going to explode by the time this gets round to main sale. So negatives now, what I don't like about this project, well, there's no code, there's no GitHub. You know, it doesn't really let me know that how far they're into the technology and how much of the blockchain they've actually got done yet. And it might be the case that they're waiting till they raise funds to actually do any coding. So we need to wait and see. Again, no blockchain yet on this project. It's essentially a white paper ICO. If it wasn't for UBicycle or UB Holdings behind it, it would just be an idea that they're selling you as well, which is a bit of a risk. There's also no verifiable blockchain experience on the team. I think only one of the team members that I checked out has actual blockchain experience, and he's working for himself at his own company. And I don't see any other projects that any of the guys have been involved in. And some of the team members are not full-time as well, which means they're not fully committed to this project. Again, it raises a little bit of a concern there. Another thing I noted was there's minor errors in the material, spelling mistakes, grammatical mistakes, and that shows a lack of attention to detail. And again, you're trying to raise $25 million, guys, and you can't afford a proofreader. And I think it's questionable using the Ripple algorithm. I understand why they've chosen it, but again, it's got concerns over reliability and stability as well. And also, there are attack vectors that have been noted in some of the developers' assessment of the algorithm. So going forward, it will be interesting to see how they implement it and you know, how well it stands up under scrutiny. There are competent competitors on the horizon as well. We mentioned a couple of them earlier, Origin Protocol and what was the other one? Oh, I had a brain fart and forgotten. ShareRing, that's right. Quite a clever name, that one. So they're competent. They look like they're hungry as well. So there's going to be a three-way Mexican standoff to see who takes the crown. I didn't like the roadmap. It's speculative and a bit vague for me. We really need to know exactly what's going to happen and when going forward. You need to plan, guys. The key to success is good planning, or one of the keys to success anyway, and there's no planning as far as I can see going forward with this. Another thing that I found quite odd was there's no total token amount specified as well. Odd. Why not? And I didn't like the fact that there are large bonuses up to 50% for private investors who also get the lion's share of the tokens. That's just not in the spirit of ICOs, guys. Again, I will be hammering projects that don't give everybody a fair go. So as far as potential gains are concerned, what I think it might do given the market conditions and also taking into account previous similar projects. Well, we've not got much to go on really. This is quite a unique project, along with a few others that are launching in due course as well, of course. An ultra bearish market, this could lose around 20%. You know, it's a fairly low hard cap. It's got a lot of hype behind it, so I don't think it will actually lose when it hits the exchanges. But you have to bear in mind, there is a potential, and cryptocurrency is a risk, and so are ICOs as well. In a bearish environment, though, I don't think it will do too badly. I think it may stay where it is, or maybe even double up. In a bullish environment going forward, short to medium term, I think we could see a 5x for this quite easily. You know, the hard cap is pretty low. It's got a lot of hype. 100 to 150 million dollar market cap when it goes on the exchanges is not unthinkable. Very, very doable for a project like this. And again, in a perma bullish environment going on medium term, longer term, you could probably see 20x on this quite easily, I would say. And if they do manage to implement, then yeah, it's tasty. Tasty indeed. So for flipping, I think this could be a potential flipper based on the hype alone. I think there's going to be a lot of demand for this. I think it will sell out, and I think when it goes on exchanges, it may do rather well. So yeah, I could consider this for flipping, but the real gains are going to be seen if you hodl this until 2019 and beyond, when their mainnet gets activated and when they onboard more users. I think that's when you'll see the biggest gains. So scores on the doors and marks out of 10 in 12 different categories, my ICO scoring metrics. Now, presentation and pitch is good, but not without mistakes, and that knocks them down to a reasonable 7 out of 10, but they could have done better there, sorry. Competitiveness now, and they are fairly competitive, but they have two big competitors coming up on the horizon, launching ICOs around the same time, and they're going to be difficult to take on, so I give them a 7 out of 10 for competitiveness. As far as solving problems are concerned, well, they do address a couple of issues in the sharing economy, so they get a 7 out of 10. As far as disrupting the market is concerned, and the status quo, again, it is pretty disruptive. They get a 7 out of 10. Blockchain and tech is where it lets them down, as they have no blockchain available yet or constructed yet. The technology is all just in the white paper. Again, it's a bit of a white paper ICO, this one. Technology, well, UBicycle have an app, but that's not going to rescue them in this category, and they get a 4 out of 10. Token use is a good, theoretically, sorry, and I'm jumping ahead of myself now. Theoretically, it is quite a good use of a token, so they get a 9 out of 10 here because it incentivizes, it rewards, and it does actually have a function. Tokenomics now, and they're not too bad. They get a 7 out of 10 for tokenomics because of the low hard cap and the low token price as well. Community and hype is definitely building here. Again, they get a solid 7 out of 10. The community is not massive like we've seen in other projects, but it is getting there, and by the time the ICO kicks off, it should be at maximum hype. Roadmap, again, another letdown. They get a 4 out of 10 for a vague and poor roadmap. Team and advisory body, I think, is pretty strong, but again, no verifiable blockchain experience, and just a couple of question marks why some of them aren't full-time on this project. So 6 out of 10 for team and advisors. Partnerships, pretty strong here for partnerships. They get an 8 out of 10. Again, I question how deep some of these partners are actually involved in this UChain project, but just having them on board in any way, shape or form will definitely lend, lend the credibility. And fair play, again, they lose out here. They only get a 5 out of 10, and the reason for that is because they're giving half of the tokens away in a private sale with a big 50% bonus. So final verdict time, how does it rate out of 10? 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest. Well, we'll all be cycling to work in the future if the robots haven't taken our jobs already. They took our jobs! So yeah, I think this is a pretty solid project. I'm giving it a 6.5 out of 10. It's solid project with a few minor concerns, as I've noted. So will I be applying for the bounty? It's not applicable here, they don't have a bounty. And will I be investing? I think I may chuck a few ether into this based on the hype and the entrepreneurial success of the team previously. So there you go, guys. That is my UChain ICO review complete. Thanks for you guys in my community that requested it, and I was happy to do it. It's a great project, looks very, very interesting, and I think it potentially could be quite successful in the future. As I said, I think the sharing economy, the natural progression is going to be onto the blockchain, and you know, UChain being already involved in the sharing economy are ideally placed to benefit from that. So yeah, exciting times, guys. So let me know in the comments below if you're going to invest and what you think about UChain. Are you bullish on it? Let me know. And if you enjoyed the video, please do give us a like. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, what? You're still not subscribed? Still? Even now? That's impossible. Click on that subscribe button immediately and click on that bell notification icon as well, so you get notified as soon as I upload new content and as soon as I go live. And yeah, that's about me done for today, guys. I'm knackered. Oh, this video took quite a while to do. Tomorrow, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I shall have another video up for you. Don't you worry about that. And it just leaves me to say the usual disclaimer that I'm not a financial advisor, guys. This should not be construed as financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. If you are going to invest in ICOs or cryptocurrency, please bear in mind it does pose inherent risk. Never invest more than you can afford to lose, and always do your own research and do your own due diligence, and always invest cautiously and wisely as well. Don't rush in. Only fools rush in, guys, and only fools follow shillers on YouTube or other social media platforms as well, for that matter. So always do your research, get as many opinions as you can, get as much information as you can before making any decisions. All right, guys, so thanks for watching. I'm out of here. Love you all. Join my Telegram group if you've not already done so. Links are in the description below. Bye bye.